But I wonder how many people have actually bought it, because I didn't buy it. I just watched a Let's Play.
So apparently, because you don't follow internet things, you
What's
didn't
the
hear
internet?
about this story. Yeah, exactly.
Don't we upload this to a rock?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Rock tube. Woo!
CGN Rock coming to you.
Yeah. Just gonna throw a rock through your window. Fuck you. Just... Anyway, what are you saying? Before I derailed the shit out of that.
Derailed. So a few days ago there was drama stirred up because YouTube Let's Players of the game That Dragon Cancer.
Real sad.
Real sad game. Anyways, they were getting Let's Plays of them was getting content ID'd by the YouTube Content ID system.
Okay.
And apparently for using soundtrack stuff from it. So the
Soundtrack of the game?
Yeah, soundtrack from the game. Like just like during normal playthrough and stuff.
Yeah.
So the developers a few days back put out a little notice saying, "Hey, here's why we did it. But we're undoing it." And it certainly caused like a lot of discussion. So one of the reasons they did it is apparently they've made their money back on it yet.
Haven't?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah, so it's an 8-people team. And
Wow, because everyone's been talking about it. But I wonder how many people have actually bought it, because I didn't buy it. I just watched a Let's Play.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible person.
So,
And it's one of those kind of games where you
could just watch a Let's Play. Yeah, so
I can't believe they didn't
apparently
make
they
their
haven't
money
made their money back, and they're, they've built up a lot of debt, like making the game, so they're just paying that off. And I think they get to pay off most of the debt so far.
Yeah,
it's
but
not like they're messing
still,
with the hole. But
wow.
yeah. So they've made a large amount of money, and they were trying to help out their composer by adding the game's soundtrack to Content ID, and monetizing those videos that have matches.
Yeah.
And sending that money along to the composer. However, that is not standard practice for video games, and it gets into the area where it's kind of just like, when is the game something that can be like experienced solely through Let's Play?
Yeah, and that's
When
what
is
it's
it
getting
not?
into, because games like that are almost like a movie.
Yeah.
And if
definitely.
someone put a whole movie up, of course it would get content ID. Like, it'd be ridiculous if it didn't.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see where they're coming from. As much as, like, I like to side with the Let's Player, like, I mean, I'm kind of an example of that, right? Like, I watched the Let's Play, I didn't buy the game. And I imagine I'm not the only sleazy scumbag like that. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I'm really curious to, like, it's such a hard thing to put quantifiable numbers on, though. Like, how many people who would have bought the game then didn't buy the game and watched a Let's Play instead?
But then how many people bought the game because they saw one of their Let's Players play it, and like they had a very emotional reaction to it, so they wanted to get it too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even if they didn't play through it, like, Amnesia is a game I've done that for. Is I've watched a Let's Play of it, bought the game, never played it.
Which I think is funny, because you don't even like horror games, do you?
Nope.
You just wanted to support the dev?
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, really? That's very admirable.
Pretty small dev team. They've gotten larger now. Of
Yeah.
course, Amnesia's done very, very well. But.
Yeah, they've had some bigger titles since.
But yeah, there's people who do that kind of stuff, and I think it's especially bad in the case of those kind of like walking simulator games, though.
Those are the ones that would get hit the hardest, because the
Yeah.
gameplay doesn't appear to be the main focus of the game.
Definitely.
Which isn't a knock at it at all, because it is more of an experience. So I wonder when we get more in with VR, because that's obviously at least where those walking simulators are going. I think they would best find their home in VR, if that's going to be as big of an issue.
I don't think so. I'm personally thinking that VR is not going to be a very great Let's Play format.
Yeah, it's going to be weird, because you can't see the person's face.
Yeah, the other thing too is,
yeah.
I don't know how much like VR stuff you've watched, but if you like take the screen that somebody's seeing from VR and just put it on a regular monitor, it's actually weird, because it's like jumping around with all these like really minor head movements.
Yeah.
And your head isn't moving that way, and it's really disorienting.
It's not where you'd want to look. It's like, I can totally understand that. Yeah. So it would get you interested in playing the game, and then you want to get it for yourself. So I think things are going to get better for walking simulators because of VR.
Yeah, although I really doubt it. Many of them are gonna like go VR exclusive.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Unless it really takes off, but
Yeah, it'd have to really take off. It's kind of like, you know, a smaller market.
yeah. But that being said, like, I'm really kind of interested in the game. It was made by Campo Santo. You know what I'm talking about? It was a guy in the woods. Firewatch. Anyway, yeah, I'm interested in the game Firewatch. It looks great, but I'm really not intrigued in playing it. But if it like comes out on VR and I have a VR setup, I would absolutely get it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it'd be an amazing world to just be kind of immersed in.
Yeah.
And more of an experience. Even though I've seen a full playthrough of the game, I would get it because of that. So
yeah,
I think that can be a bonus.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm really tempted to get the game. I haven't seen a full playthrough. I feel like if I did see a full playthrough, I'd be significantly less tempted to buy it though.
That's reasonable. That's because you've experienced the story, and there's only a couple different ways you can experience it. A big thing with that game, even though it's a sidetrack, a lot of people didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
Which is what I've heard, but
Interesting.
endings are tough.
There. Mess them up very easily.
Yeah. You set up so much expectation, and then if it doesn't go exactly the way you, or compare to what you've built it up to be, you're like, oh, this whole thing sucked. Like Mass Effect 3.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Legitimately a really good game, and people shit on that game way too much. But the ending wasn't exactly what they had in mind. And I mean, the ending wasn't great. It didn't fulfill the promise that they had built up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make the whole journey there any less, I don't think. You know what I mean? Like it's So the journey there was fantastic. Maybe the final bits, sure, not too great. I didn't even actually finish the game, but I still think it's a great game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So where are you on the side of supporting? Do you think maybe Let's Plays of walking simulator type games, or rather non-interactive games, shouldn't be on YouTube?
Well, I don't think you can paint that Jesus, Murphy. Having a stroke.
No, out of a brush?
Yes! Those are the words I was trying to say from my mouth hole. Yeah, so I don't think you can paint with those broad strokes in that particular case, because how would you enforce something like that without being tyrannical Nintendo?
Yeah. Like, what's the line, and
yeah,
when is it okay to force that and all that stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Total Biscuit did a long talk on this, and one of his main points is one of his first points was, you know, the game should be up there so people can see what the game's about before buying it. And it's very pro-consumer, but that's what reviews are for.
yeah, that's entirely fair. I mean, the only way I can relate it to, even though it's not like a movie, those types of games are very movie-like.
Yeah.
And if someone put a movie up, that would be ridiculous. Like, of course that would get taken down. So maybe go from that, but that doesn't mean that I think that I don't know. It's a really difficult question to answer, and honestly, I'm kind of coming at a loss for words right now. What about yourself?
I feel like the Let's Plays should probably stay up, just simply because, you know, what's acceptable, what's not, what's critique and stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think really needs to be improved is what the devs of that Dragon Cancer's final point was they were like, okay, we're gonna take this monetization off. We're gonna give you back your monetization, but we would really appreciate if you promoted our game, sent a link to the Steam page or whatever in the description, or like, you know, kind of promoted it in that way. So that way they can have, the Let's Player and the game devs can have a symbiotic's not the word I'm looking for, is it?
Right.
But like, mutually beneficial relationship.
It can almost be like an advert in a sense. So like, we're not gonna charge you for playing our game in front of all these people, because it's going to be like a marketing thing. As long as you say to them at the end, like, maybe you should go get this.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be that abrasive.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I think's so difficult about it now is that it's not really surfaced well. I think it's getting better with YouTube, like automatically matching what game is being playing and then sending a link.
It's getting better, but the copyright system on YouTube is still super broken.
Yes, yes it is.
This is honestly, to really dive into this topic, we would have to have like a whole video series for it. I think it's real dense, dude. Yeah. Real dense. Yeah. We're gonna cut this one here though.